So many people waited for this Bolide refresh for quite some time, and when it finally came out, I was thoroughly unimpressed. But this handles really badly. Now, some minority may like how it handles, but honest to God, its terrible snap oversteer characteristics would kill 90% of its owners if they ever dared to take it on an actual road. You know, Porsche Carrera GT style. To tame this unruliness, you have to lift off way too much, losing all that valuable speed. Now, this shortfall is made up by it having an absolutely insanely powerful engine. Just hope that you never go over a rise of any kind. One way manufacturers have overcome this is to induce understeer, and we all know how that one goes. Now, I could go on for days on a plethora of ways that they could have fixed this, but how about instead I just show you? So I took this woolly mess all the way through Blender, removed everything that's not needed, which took a really long time, which included having to remove the headlights and everything else just not completely essential to the car. I then had to learn how to use the new modding pipeline, and 2 days later, hey presto! It's finally in. Now, it said it's a 79 car, and I know that the car comes in out in 81. Probably could have given you more leeway, but this is kind of how just I wanted it to be. Also noticing my wheel arch doesn't go far enough. Oh, there's so many things with modding. It's always something. Now, even though we don't actually have the full GT4 body here, we're going to go with a 1985 one and use this as our kind of Group 4, which actually would be more like a Group C at this era. And we're going to give ourselves a fiberglass body. Monocoque, can we go carbon fiber yet? No, we can't. So we're going to go space frame and steel. Mid-longitudinal, because we're going to choose the same engine. Like, I could go a lighter engine, or I could go a more powerful engine, but yeah, we're going to go with a mid-longitudinal. Double wishbone and double wishbone. Just all the basics. A little bit of extra quality, but not huge, because this vehicle isn't actually that heavy. Gonna go with a V8, though the new V10s do sound spectacular. Or maybe that's just me. Anyway, magnesium engine block, and we're gonna make this a fairly small one. We're gonna go with proper Group C rulings, which means 3.5 liter, or should I say more modern Group C, like the later Group Cs. Dual overcam, 4 valves per cylinder, aluminium. Wait, it's set to 2012? What the hell? Harmonic dampener, probably. Then all forged stuff, little bit of extra quality. I'll get back to you, Barry. Turbochargers, 2 of them. Probably a journal one for the longevity from a car that's this old. And I have to reach about 444 kilowatts. Injection, multi-point, probably a single on a car this old, and then a race. That's a big chunky plenum we've got on here. My God. And something like a 98 Ron fuel, probably. Short cast, dual, none. Yay, good, okay. Whoa. Our RPM is apparently a smidgen too high. At 2000 RPM, this thing is destroying itself. How's that possible? What? Okay. It just seems like flat plane when its cast iron is broken. Why? Well, now the devs know about this new issue. I am using the experimental build, so I'm not too concerned, really. Like, they'll get around to fixing it. Hopefully. All right, let's get to the new turbos then. Yes. Somewhere around 400-ish kilowatts. Apparently we're knocking a bit. What was it, like 8.5 is a usual compression ratio for back in the day? We'll go with that. Oh, we're getting close already. How about a bigger exhaust? Now I know where the torque is so peaky in this thing. So my power comes in at about the same sort of time and leaves at about the same-ish sort of time. I think we're good enough for now. But my God, that is just a cliff of power. I love how realistic this is. Like, yikes. I wonder what it sounds like. Let's give it a listen. That was a good sounding engine. Though I am a little bit deaf now. What? There we go, a 2.5 meter long supercar. Rear-wheel drive, obviously, because it can't be all-wheel drive. Manual, and then we're gonna go 5-speed and put that top speed up quite a bit. We can luckily put on a geared LSD by this point. I don't think a viscous LSD would do quite a good job at holding up at this amount of power. Radials, because we're well into the 80s now, so finally crossflies aren't used in racing anymore. Then something like a semi-slick, probably still magnesium wheels. Vented disc, we'll go 1 piston, and then a vented disc, 1 piston again. Probably a fully clad, right? We'll go with that. Two-seater? Yeah, sure. We're gonna go half between, like, the race version and the homologation special. Sports interior, we're gonna go with a fairly basic one, like a premium cassette. Hydraulic power steering, yeah, no, we won't give it ABS. Standard 80 safety, try to make this a lot lighter, and put the weight distribution more to the front. Standard springs, gas monotube, and then we'll hit this on race. Oh, that's a pretty scary graph. Only 10% wheel spin though, that's not so bad. We're on 225s, not bad. 80 kilometers an hour without any downforce yet. That's actually a pretty good number. If you want to know how to read this, basically, keep the yellow line as close to being in between these as possible, and then try to get the biggest number down here, like further out as much as possible. Now we're going to use all of our brand new tech at our hands to make this work exactly how we want it. This is going to be fun. Feel those front tires are too narrow. Maybe I'll make them a bit bigger and then add more rear downforce. There we go, that's looking much better. Then we're gonna make the rears a lot bigger. I love how I can do this separately. That's just, oh, so good. And then the fronts will stay fairly small. All we have to do now is just drop it. Oh, no, apparently we have to drop it more. Now, by looking at this lip and the way it lifts up a little bit, maybe we should drop the front a little bit more than the rear. So to do this suspension tuning, we're gonna go into fixtures. Yes, that works, right? So suspension right now, we're gonna drop the front down considerably, and then we're gonna drop the rear independently. How's that look? No, maybe a little too much rake. There we go. That looks pretty sick. This makes me so super duper happy. Let's go with classic and stick on some wheels. If you have a look at the ones that they got, that looks like a mod wheel that I don't see anywhere. God, I'd love the turbo fan wheels. Those would be great here. I don't know why this is under modern wheels, but I think this is what I'll go for. A little bit more streetable. Now, time to give it a paint color. What should we give it? Yellow? Kind of like the base model? Green looks pretty good. Blue also does, actually. Just everything just looks good on this car. This one makes me feel uncomfortable, but also feels nice. I don't know. I'm very torn up about this one, but I think this is the one I'm going to go with, because it'll also look good in the thumbnail. Now, just to let you know, this front bumper is actually paint-awayable, so you can go in here and you can make it transparent. It's just, I thought I'd give you the option, but also I wanted the American-style bumpers sometimes. And it just looks really good here. Same with the rear spoiler. You can take that off if you so choose. What do we got it as? We got it as tray. So currently it's plastic, but you can just go ahead and you can make it invisible and then stick your own wing on. But I'm gonna actually leave it on for myself, even though I'm gonna like hide a wing in there as well. I know that this doesn't actually create much downforce at all, but what it does do is reduce a lot of lift. So I'm gonna stick a wing on there. I'm just gonna pretend that that's a wing. Then everything else is also separated. Main body, got the skirts on there, got a little grill section down there, got a front bumper area and then a rear bumper area, which you can also change. Myself, I'm just going to change the secondary and then make the little area down here transparent so then we could stick a thing behind that. Apparently, we can't make windows invisible. What have I done? God damn it. Ah, that's a problem for another day. All brakes look fun. They're also very even. What's the weight distribution on this? It should be still very rear bias. Yeah, 30... Okay, that's weird. Well, maybe you know what it is? It's probably because we've got smaller front tires. And trust me, these front tires are very small. That has to be way too small. God, I can't wait to get back all of those mod fixture wings that people had. Oh, that was so good. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just grab a very basic wing that has monochromatic color choices, make it fairly big, and then, boop, gone. So we don't have to think about that no more. Then we're probably gonna stick another one on front, but like smaller. This one, however, we're just gonna hide. Something like that. And that's nearly fixed our oversteering issue. Let's just turn the rear wing up a lot. I suppose it also does have a rear diffuser, and that would be giving us more downforce on the back. Because yes, rear diffusers did still exist in the 80s. Oh, you know what? That almost looks like it's meant to be a normal fixture if I do that. And then give it like a plastic color. Yeah, it looks like strikes. I like it. God, I feel so rejuvenated to play this after the new update because there's just so many cool things to do. One thing to do though is we're gonna make this tire a little bit flatter on the bottom because it's too rounded. As you can see, that's quite the curve. Wheel tread curve. There you go. That looks much better. Ooh, yeah. Those wheels, so tasty. Now the tricky thing, which is always tricky on this, and that's to get headlights to work on a body like this, specifically pop-up headlights. Everyone's favorite. I think what I'm going to do is kind of do a headlight, a pop-up headlight delete sort of thing. Nothing here aligns. No! Why? Good, we still have patchwork, so we can use patchwork. There still needs to be a triangle cutaway, though. Like, this is not enough. It'll kind of do. I think that's a little bit better. We got a little bit of a lip on there now. Kind of weird, but you kind of have to make entirely custom lights for this. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Now, the reason why I made this painted and not just open is so then what you can do is bring in a nice bit of patchwork, make it 3D, then make it a mesh. And good. Done. Then instead of their weird sort of, like, hood vent that they had, the funnel through this kind of way, doesn't sit right with me, so we're gonna do better. Yeah, I think that looks it just looks better. So much better. Oh my god, you can paint away the wheel wells now. Yes, so now we can do the whatchamacallits. Open wheel is so much easier. Thank you, devs. I keep finding new things constantly, all the time. Oh, they're so good. Now the question is, do we put the vent back in or do we go with kind of the OG design? I think we do put it in, but we don't have anything in our standard non-mod fixtures that really fits exactly. Potentially this? Yeah, you know what? Actually, that does all right. That does, yeah, it's a bit of all right. I like that. Looks pretty good. Kind of fitting. I need to make this like a single mod fixture, so I'm not having to do this whole jank stuff to make it work in the future, at least. Now, the back window of this is generally more of a ventilation area, not actually a window. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go. Okay. Go ahead and do this. That's what we want to see. Now, to kind of focus more on the harder part, which is always the rear end. Let's start by putting exhaust in, because I think that's going to be the easiest, because I have in my head what I think I know I want. I think that looks pretty good. If only I could move that muffler. It doesn't even have a muffler. What if we want to move the engine forward a bit as well? That does seem quite far back. But then again, it's also moved quite far forwards. If only this was in the actual transmission, and the transmission may be like a realistic length where it's just maybe a little bit longer, and then move the whole engine forward in comparison to that. Because if I move the engine forward, then it's going to move these axles even more weirdly. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to move the engine a little bit. Somewhere around there. Looks kind of good, kind of like a Ferrari 306, where the engine is so far forward that you have no access to it, and you have an actual panel inside of the cabin area, which you can take off so then you can actually get access to the front of the engine. It's absolutely silly and ridiculous. It's a little bit bland. I think I can do just a smidgen bit extra work here. I saw somebody do this on a, like, I think it was a Bugatti or a McLaren build. I do know words, I swear. There we go. Little bit better now. For some reason, I can't put anything on windows. What? Well, let's put it there three-dimensionally then, I suppose. There we go. That kind of works there. Good. I have to figure out what my problem with placing things on glass is. Because a moment ago, I noticed that I couldn't do it on the front windshield, but I thought it was this little gap here. Can't have an 80s sports car that's in America without a sunroof. Or is that England? I can't remember. What is that? There's a hole missing out of it. There's two holes missing out of it. What? Now really the only thing to do is to put number plates on there. Now I could put a number plate in here, but I've got that opened up for ventilation. So instead, I'm gonna place it kind of hanging out from underneath there. Yeah, it looks like a buck tooth. I hate it. That looks a little bit better. Still looks like a buck tooth. Can we plop that in there really deep? Yes, we can. See, Neological try to avoid this one, bitch. All right. Well, I think we're good to go export it, right? God, this brake force thing is so good! Oh my god, when I first heard that this was something that they were doing, it was immediately something I really wanted. Unfortunately, it seems that it's like max speed before it starts to understeer is somewhere around... This would be 175, and this is almost another block, so we're getting close to 200, but maybe like 180, 190 sort of area. What does Test Track reckon? I'm gonna guess somewhere around a 205. Ooh, a 208. Not bad. You notice I only have 215s on the rear, and we're only getting 7.4% wheel spin, which means I could go like really thicker tires. These tires are not that thick. And what that would allow me to do is get even more traction, but then I'm gonna have problems with not being able to get any sort of wheel slip. 255s? Nice. And now it's going into the 200s. How is this thing generating 150 kilos of lift on the front. We're gonna call this the Bolide by Phil Man 86. So then people aren't confused, oh, which Bolide is it? Obviously, it's right in the name, and it was made by me. You can go ahead and make your own, because this mod will be available on Steam. Aren't I so nice? Not just hogging all this content for myself. Now, we've got both of them in here. I've got this one selected. Let's go ahead and turn that engine off. And this one is so much quieter. God, that's so quiet. Compare it to this one. Oh. This one had flat exhaust as well. Mine's just a little bit more raked angle. But we're not going to try this one first. We're going to use this one to get a kind of baseline. This has a nitrous oxide system. Oh my god, no. That's a terrible idea. Okay, so we're going to see the understeer and oversteer characteristics. First of all, so the lockups. And the fact that this game doesn't allow you to trail brake at all. Bring it around this corner and see whether we get understeer or oversteer. Get understeer, 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 understeer. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we were able to get the understeer under control. And let's push it down here and just... Oh, okay, lockups, understeer, understeer. Oh, understeer, like crazy. Oh dear, that's an unfortunate amount of understeer. Hopefully mine doesn't understeer nearly as much as that. Oh my god, the understeer is chronic. And then I try to control it over power oversteer, but that was power oversteer, not legit oversteer. So we're gonna do a little bit of here. Oh, understeer, understeer, understeer. Oh, nope. Okay, well, let's try a baseline model that doesn't have any sort of fettling from aerodynamics and stuff like that. We're gonna see how it goes into the first corner with this, like, a problematic oversteer. So, slow it down. Oh, lockups. And then, oh, you know what? I think one of the updates may have reduced its oversteeriness, because this is considerably less oversteery than what it was the other day. But going around these corners, yeah, just a little bit of oversteer, and then into understeer. This feels better. I feel like they've updated the car. That's weird. Maybe I should break out the race version, because the race version was also quite, problematic. Like, the exit of corners, you had to lift way too much. And, oh my god. Now there's just chronic understeer. They have to have changed something, because it didn't understeer quite so... Oh, okay. Yep. If you break into a corner... Oh, God. If you break into a corner, the thing has pretty big issues. But also, this is running on sports tires, not really semi-slicks. Maybe I should have... Once it gets into a tank slapper, this thing becomes... unrivaled in its, like, not handling this good drive. Come on. The thing acts like a real bomby knocker once it starts actually going. But for that to happen, you have to overcome the thing's chronic understeer it seems to have, and I don't know entirely how one is meant to try to fix that. But I suppose we'll try seeing if we can't try to remedy that situation coming into this corner. So previously, if you watched my stream when this update came out, I did a bit of a test. Oh! Lockups! Lockups! Nah, lockups! Oh, understeer. Yeah, also, the brake balance is really bad. Let me show you. Keep an eye on the brake meter, and we're gonna see which one locks up first, the front or the rear. Because it has always felt fairly unbalanced. So we're gonna get up to, yeah, 150. Yeah, the fronts lock up way too easily. And then it becomes a little bit even when you're going at more regular speeds. That's not great. That means we're generating a lot of lift on the front. Or maybe more downforce on the rear than what you'd want. Let's see how the race one goes now. And oh my god, when that turbo kicks in, the world ends, honestly. And then, oh, lockups on the brakes, lockups on the brakes. But that's fine. Oh! Okay, had to lift heavily. Okay, this power is uncontrollable. This amount of, like, high-end power is kind of unusable, honestly. But yeah, let's... Oh, okay. Oversteer. That's fine. We got it under control. And, oh, snap oversteer. That's not what we wanted. God damn it. Go in a straight line. All right, let's try this corner again. And fairly stable understeer, understeer, understeer. Oh, God. Okay, that's fine. We got it going slow enough now. And snap oversteer. It's not the most gracious of cars, but it does feel better than what it did previously. Like, it had massive problems with snap oversteer before. Whoa! whenever you saw somebody pull one of these cars out in a video, god damn it, you would notice that they would immediately have problems with oversteer. And I think they kind of solved it with their understeer, except it's still not great. Like, there's something not quite right. Maybe it's like bad suspension geometry. Yeah, I had to lift there on the exit because I decided to get a bit of oversteer. Understeer, understeer, understeer! Come on, why? Why so much understeer? I had to slow down so much for that, and then power oversteer straight into snap oversteer. Now, let's try mine. A lot more basic. Oh my god, it is so boggy off the line. That's so bad. And somewhere around, I think it was 6,500? Yeah, 6,500 RPM. This thing comes alive. Oh, a little bit skittish there, coming over the ridge. But that's fine. Oh, understeer. Maybe they've done a complete overhaul to the physics. Or maybe they found a bug in the physics that meant all cars were oversteering, because this is now, yeah, a lot more controllable. Oh god. Okay, well, I've done bad. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, okay. Maybe we do have a problem with our front tires being a little too big. Oh dear, and the jiggle is really bad. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I know how to fix that. Let's try again. Oh, okay, oversteer, oversteer. That's fine, we got it under control. Slow it down. Turn the other way. And okay, so this one doesn't have chronic understeer. It has unfortunate understeer. And I can also fairly easily put the power down. I wonder if my tires are much thicker than theirs, maybe, because this feels a lot more responsive. And if you're just a little bit careful and try to rein in that understeer a little bit, it becomes a lot easier to control. This is the big one that was causing understeer, and look at that, we're going like 70 kilometers an hour faster than the previous car, maybe even 80 kilometers an hour faster. I reckon even with downforce, or without any sort of downforce, this thing still actually has pretty good numbers. But let's try out this corner as we're coming up, braking zone nice and early. It's gonna start locking up in lower speeds. Oh, okay. Our brakes are not as good as theirs. Their brakes are considerably better. And I'm not entirely sure I know how to fix that. But yeah, this feels a lot more controllable. It turns in, a little bit of understeer, but at least we're not getting snap oversteer and chronic understeer like the other car. I'm gonna bring it around, and we're gonna just park up next to the other car, and we're gonna go immediately into that one to see if I can once again do another test of that. So I feel like I've created a better car than what they have, but I need to go back and test it again, because maybe I'm just getting better at handling this car. So let's slow down, bring it to a stop. Okay. I feel that the brakes are better in this one. Where's the engine placement as well? Yeah, the engine placement goes right up against that firewall. And the firewall is basically at that door jamb. So, yeah, I mean, we got pretty similar engine placements. Theirs maybe be a slight bit further ahead than mine. God, the peak power sort of thing in this just renders that power band unused. Oh god. Okay, going over ridges still sucks chronically bad. Coming over a ridge in this thing sucks. The brakes are pretty horrific. And then into a bit of a tank slapper, but that's fine. And then come around here, try to lift. Oh no, understeer, 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 understeer. Oh, okay. Bad understeer. Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, okay. Nah! Yeah, I have to go quite a bit gentler. I'm having to go a lot slower than what I want to, because otherwise it'll just understeer out sideways. And you can't try to power oversteer it, because the moment you try to power oversteer, the thing is immediately going to become like an uncontrollable wallowing mess. What sort of speeds can we get around here? If we slow it down... Oh, you know what? It's actually about the same sort of speed. It's just this one I had to be a lot more careful. 310 by the end of the straight. And, oh, no, okay. My brakes are not worse. They're just not good in this body, apparently. Let's go back into this one. It already feels more steady going over ridges. There's something wrong about ridges in the other car. It might have to do with, like, a suspension geometry. That means when weight is lifted off the rear, maybe the tires go in a funny direction, which causes the tires to act weirder than what you would want. You know what? I want a better power band. This power band does not feel good. Also, it feels very sturdy and very stable. Even a little bit of power oversteer I can control, which is rather nice, actually. Let's bring it around here. 138 is the speed. There we're going. I can go much faster into the exit, even though I did stuff up. That was just me trying to, like, maximize my exit speed, though. That was a me problem. Our mid-corner speed is 143. Better than that one, though I had to lift a little bit because I got a little bit of stroppy oversteer. My power band is only slightly better, but I think I might be generating a little bit less power than them. I'd have to actually do a proper test there. And our top speeds, nah, they're about the same. And our brakes are about as rubbish as each other's. Nope, stop! Let's try this again. Speeding out of here, 150 on the exit. That was actually not that hard to do. I don't know why I was pushing so much harder earlier, but my mid-corner is faster. I suppose the real only thing I can do is the Crucible of Fire, and that's to give it a hot lap. So we're gonna bring it up, and we're actually going to do a timed lap. Okay, baby, show me what you got. We're almost at the line. That shouldn't make too much of a difference, and hopefully we don't get chronic oversteer and stuff anything up. Oh, breaking into the first corner sucks. That's okay. Oh, okay. Snap oversteer. That's fine. We got it under control. And then we got to really be nice and smooth onto the power. Can't push too hard. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there, but that's fine. And I do know how to drive this car a little bit better now. You got to be really smooth coming out of the corners. Oh my God. That is so scary when you just like 50% or even less break it and the thing locks up. Trying so hard not to lock up. It's okay. Go slow mid corners. And okay. Pushing it now out to the back corner. And here we have to go. Oh, slow, slow. Oh, I wasn't going slow enough. Damn it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. We still should be going much faster by the end. Now, I know this car is a little bit lighter, but we're gonna, like, ignore that. It's only 100 kilos lighter than my car, so not too concerned here. This, my car is lighter than the standard versions of this car, though. Let's start braking from much further back. Oh, lockups ahoy. Yep, okay, good. We got it braked just in time. Having to lift a little bit for power oversteer, but that's kind of the way just this car is. Okay, brakes got skittish there. Oh, that's unfortunate. But if you can't control the car, and especially if you're doing Group C, you're gonna be driving this car for what, like 5-hour stints, maybe more, and then do like a full 24-hour race, because that's where a lot of these got used in real endurance races. But that's fine. Oh, okay. BeamNG had a bit of a brain fart there with what to do with gear ratios, gear choice. But we did a 2-minute, almost flat lap, almost a 2-minute one. All right, the first big thing about my car that you should know is it bog. Oh, that bogs way more than what I thought. But there we go, okay. We did get it out of first gear, which is where the biggest issue is. Honestly, what I would do in real life is I'd probably actually give this car like a less peaky top power and just give it a smoother power band, so then the car becomes a lot more controllable. As you can see here, I'm getting a little bit of oversteer, but it's a lot easier to control. And if I do get the oversteer, then I'm not in chronic understeer territory. So yeah, like those mistakes that you'll be making after hour 3 of driving, like over and over again, are going to become a little bit easier to overcome. Oopsie daisies. Okay, we do get a fair chunk of understeer there. That was not how I wanted it to be. But here we go. We're going to come down here and we're going to try to get a maximum speed in the exit. About 160 on the exit. And I could have gone a little bit wider, but that comes more with practice. This thing does feel quite a bit different, but it still has similar characteristics to the other one. Now, my brakes are worse than theirs, so I'm going to also brake from a really far distance back. Like here? Is that enough? Okay, well, maybe I braked a little bit too early. A little bit of oversteer there, but it's easy to control. But then that did send me into understeer territory. But at least, you know, once again, not particularly chronic. And then slow down here. And, oh, okay. Yep, didn't like the weight shift there of going over the ridge like the original. But I suppose that's the way the cookie crumbles. I made a mistake. Have to live by it and then go through the corkscrew, basically, is what that is. I really do love that corner, even if I do suck at it. But here, let's come in, slow down for the final little mini chicane. No understeer, power out of the exit. Oopsie daisies. Got a little bit loose on the paint and... oh, frick, it's slower. No, it's slower! Why? Damn it! I suppose theirs is the race version? Is that what the problem is? No, their tires are wider and they're fully slick. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my own ultimate version of this car. Well, after going back and forth a whole bunch of times, we finally got a car that I am happy with. So I got the tires basically matched to the same as theirs. They have really wide tires. My rear tires are almost as big, but my front tires are considerably narrower than theirs. So then it doesn't create like a whole load of twitchiness. The vehicle just becomes a lot more stable and, well, just you have the ability to control it a whole lot more. Not chronic understeering if you make a mistake, and the snap oversteer happens considerably less. Now, it's not super fast through corners, but it does a much better job. And also, counting on that, I also gave myself a much better power band. I did knock off, unfortunately, like 100 horsepower. Oh, wow, that was really atrocious, but that's fine. We got this under control. What is happening? It wasn't understeering like this a moment ago when I was doing the test to make sure that I was finally happy with the car, but maybe it's... you know what it is? It's the commentary. I should probably go full sweat mode, but I kind of don't want to because I also did the other car not in full sweat mode. Oh my god, I've been working on this car for quite some time. It's been, 3 hours of on and off me just tweaking and fiddling and getting this car to be basically what it is. I also brought it down to a V6 as opposed to a big heavy V8. And that also, I find, helped it rev just a little bit faster because I don't know what it was about that flat plane V8. It just didn't want to rev very fast. And this one revs much faster, even if it's, you know, not as powerful. It feels a whole lot better. And you can see here that the time's not looking so bad. I mean, I've made a whole bunch of mistakes, but, it's not bad. 1 minute 45, I think I'm about to beat the lap time. Oh my god. That is 9 seconds faster. 8 seconds faster. My math is really bad. Yeah, 8 seconds faster. Oh my god. Alright, so I'd not done a full lap. I just done like a few corners, you know, check the high speed and low speed understeer, you know, normal sort of testing. And I haven't even actually finished it. If we have a look here, I kind of forgot to flare out the front wheel here. So, I mean, there's more you could do. I mean, that's not really going to affect the handling too much, but the car is actually really nice. Now, there is also a couple of things I learned in this. One, this car isn't as slow as I thought it was. Like, it's really hard to control. And if you're doing an endurance race, which Group 5 most of the time was, your chances of making a mistake only really go up. Oh! And even though I just made a mistake then, I will say that something has changed since when it initially released. Like, I tested this like the moment it came out, and it was god awful, but I'm pretty sure they've changed something where it's a little bit better controllable, though I have just spun out again. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was in the right frame of mind when I tested that car out. Oh, you know what it was actually? You know what? I just come from driving a good car to driving this, and this car is very unruly. If you're just really nice to this thing, oh my god, I hate this. All right, you know what? No, this car is garbage. I was trying to say nice things because earlier when I was driving it, it was nice, but now I'm driving it, it sucks balls. Oh dear. There is also, I mean, at least one other takeaway you could take from this. You know when you lock up sometimes and then the thing chunks back into gear? So like this, I'm gonna lock up a little bit, and then I'm gonna accelerate and it just chunks into gear, and sometimes that'll throw you out wide. Let me try that again. All right, late braking, lockups, and then put it in, accelerate, and it just chunks into gear kinda. Really harsh. Well, what that is if you lock up, it puts it out of gear and doesn't put it back into gear. So this is how you fix it. So we're coming down here, you gotta lock up, you clutch in, accelerate, and then dump the clutch. So basically you do a clutch dump, and that makes it so much smoother. So what BeamNG needs to do for their vehicle controllers for cars that come out of automation is when it goes into a lockup and the car doesn't know what gear to be in, so it just clutch rolls, what it should do is when you go to reapply the accelerator, just have the clutch in for a little bit, then drive away. Well, that's pretty much all I've got for you now. This will be up as a mod body on the automation workshop thing. Oh, okay, well, bugger. Oh, dear. This car also holds together better. I'm just saying. Oh, dear, just a chunk of the fender. The other thing will be this car will also be on the BeamNG repository as well, so you can go ahead and try that. But for now, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.